One go outside, one go out there. I would do anything to make sure I'm not in last place. If I wake up, don't make no money, that's a sad day. 2500 on my shirt with the tags. I want it that way. I want it that way.
Welcome back to season 2 of EPAN to the UKV pod, where I'm part of the team. Drew Pitzer, and the other half, Josh Carpenter, is right across from me. And, again, Josh, we had a terrific season 1, a lot of great guests, 17, 18 episodes, one of the two right there, where, and every single episode was jam-packed with, a lot of great information and basketball minds that, not just West Virginia, but just touches all over the whole world. And, we got a lot of great feedback from so many people saying how much they appreciated watching our pods. I mean, I spoke to somebody yesterday that said they watched every single episode all the way through. And I don't think, for both of us, that means just so much to us for the content that we put out, the career changes that both of us have had over the last few months. And we're just so thankful for all the love and support, and the continued love and support that we will get in season 2, which will be a little bit different of a feeling. The first couple episodes will be traditional to how we did last year, with Jon Elmore leading us off with the first episode. And we're really excited with that. We'll have him on shortly here in a few minutes. But again, we just kind of want to go over what we did last season and what we're doing now. And Josh, I'm going to start with you. Go ahead and give the world a little update on what's going on with your life being a coach with the George Washington.
Yeah, so touching on the podcast, like you said, it's I'm proud of us that we went through with it, because I know that me and you are both two people that really like to get things done, and my word goes a long way. So I'm glad that we stuck it out through a whole season and did everything that we said we wanted to do, and that we're still consistent with it right now. So I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we went through all that, and all the guests. I appreciate all the guests we had. I've learned so much just from every guest. That's the coolest part. Like, you learn so many things about people in general, not just basketball. But yeah, coaching has been awesome, man. I love it. I love it. I love working with the JV guys. I like all the coaches, man. They've been so welcoming. Coach Green, I learn something from him every day. But it's just been great to be around a team environment again, man. It makes me remember every day why I love playing basketball.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and on my end, Josh, I started when we first started this podcast. I was with Home Team Sports. I was the lead play-by-play broadcaster. But now, in the last couple of weeks, I got a great job opportunity with WRNR, network, 106.5. It was too good of an offer for me to pass up. I'm now the director of operations and lead play-by-play analyst for all sports. So Shepherd football, Shepherd basketball, Martinsburg football, basketball, traditionally still cover all the EPAC schools. But just a little bit different because really my specialty was covering Jefferson County. So now I'm moving back to the county that I grew up in. So it's still EPAN to UKV. We both
For
covering
sure.
both sides of the map. And it's, it's going to be a pleasure. But now we're going to have, police officers, lawyers. We're going to speak to different people of the community that gives us a different perspective on what sports means to them and what the community and the overall connection means to them as well. So I think this new season and kind of what we're shifting to, we'll get a lot more eyes on it. Because again,
Yeah,
our biggest mantra between especially Josh and I is open, honest, and transparency. If somebody doesn't like something about the pod, which we've had our complaints. I've had people say like, "Hey, why
for
don't you do
sure.
this? Why don't you do that?" And again, this is just how we designed it. At first, it was all just about getting the best basketball minds and breaking it down to a purity. And now it's kind of it's shifting to what society is, especially within the state of West Virginia. We already got Division I coaches, great history, but now again we're going to shift just a little bit. Still have a lot of basketball stuff, but we're really
Yeah.
trying to dig into the real society and the real world.
Yeah, I think it's important too. Like the UKV, like people that's from here know like the struggles of being from this area.
Of course.
And I think it's gonna be cool to get into stuff to get into real life things. Like what is the struggles of being from here? What's the good things? And we can talk to people that try to actively fix those things. I think it'll be super cool. Now we can use our platform. I feel like we have like a responsibility to use it to sometimes show that part of life. So I think that'll be awesome to like pivot to those things.
For sure. And Josh, before we get Jon Elmore on here, I'm going to ask you one more question. What is your biggest goal going into season 2? This next 6 to 7 months, 6, 7, that we're going to have with the not only the view of the pod, but what we want to accomplish. What is the one thing that you want to do with the EPAN to the UKV?
One thing I want to do, the main thing for me is always us to stay consistent. I
Of
feel like
course.
so many people give up on things in life right before they don't even see what's going to happen. life will make changes so quickly. So I think we stay consistent, number one, and then two, just most important to me is that we get different types of people, different walks of life on here. Like I love basketball. I live and breathe it every day now again. But I really want to like use our platform to help people in any way, not just a promotional way of just basketball players. I want to get people on here that somebody might not know of a situation or somebody might not know of an organization that might help them. There's so many things I think we can do now that we get views. So I want to help people in any way that we can with the platform that we got. That's my biggest goal for sure.
Yeah, and that's kind of the same thing for me. It's recognition, but it's also, just being open and honest. Like I'm not necessarily trying to have a debate show turn, EPAN to UKV turn to a debate show,
Never.
but bringing people with different opinions, and I'm hoping they're opinionated. Like I don't necessarily like the yes man type persona of some of these shows, but I also don't like just having topics that we know people are going to disagree with and get disrespectful. But I think if you can have different opinions come together and maybe not see eye to eye, but agree to disagree, I think that's what I want kind of this season to go. We have guests on here that maybe you and I don't see eye to eye with, or even you and I might have different opinions. We'll always maintain a level of respect.
I envision us having people on here sometime that a kid in high school might see a clip of a person in our area, or mine or your area, that runs some type of organization that might help his family get through a certain time, whether it be housing, money, food. We can get
Right.
people on here that are like philanthropists in life. Now that we have the kids' audience on TikTok, Twitter, stuff like that, they might see something and they can be like, hey, mom, there's this place that we can go in Charleston and they might feed us or they might do those things. So I think now we can literally pivot this into helping people while we
Of course.
still talk hoops. I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, with that being said, again, we want to thank everyone for a terrific season one. It was great. Can't wait to see the shifts that are going to happen in season two. And without
Last words,
further
last
ado,
word.
brother,
Hell
hit me
G
with them.
dub. Hell G dub. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Season 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to EPAN to the UKV Pod, where I'm your host, Drew Pitzer, joined by my co-host, Josh Carpenter. Today, we have a very special guest, G League champion and Marshall, one of Marshall's greats, second all-time leading scorer for Marshall University, Jon Elmore. John, how you doing today, my friend?
What's up, fellas? Appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah,
Sir,
absolutely, brother.
appreciate
I
you, bud.
mean, yeah, you're a legend in your own right. I think I told Josh before we got you on here, I think you're one of the 10 most influential players in West Virginia history. You have a 7-year professional career right now. Like I said, over 2,600 points, and most of those came at Marshall. Just a tremendous player. Played 2 seasons at SC, and also finished your career at high school at George Washington. But we're gonna go all the way back and kind of start with your middle school career. When did you realize that shooting hoops was really going to be for you, and that you could make a livelihood out of it?
Man, that's a good question. I just know from as far back as I can remember, I always had a ball in my hands, whether that was like a little Tykes hoop or growing up, we had an outdoor hoop. So I was just always around the game. My dad played in college, was drafted to the NBA. My grandfather played at West Virginia. My older brother played. So
Yeah.
literally from as far back as I can possibly remember, it was just basketball. I mean, I played baseball, I played soccer as a little kid, but there was just always a passion for basketball, and I was always in the gym. I was always around it, and it was just something that I really enjoyed. So I don't think there was an exact start date, but it was just from the jump, it was always hoops.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. And Josh, before I hand it over to you, obviously your dad, Gay, and your brother, Ott, which you two right now, in March, it used to be you guys are both stars, but now I look forward to TBT every year just to see you guys. And I love seeing, I know he hasn't played in a couple TBTs, but what was it like growing up with Ott and your guys' connection? I mean, you can tell you're such a tight knit family. What was it like going to Marshall and playing with him too?
Honestly, man, he was one of my biggest inspirations and role models from the moment we knew each other. We were fighting like
Right.
dogs and cats, but it was always like, I'm trying to beat you, he's trying to beat me. And that's just something that makes you tougher and makes you grow and learn. I mean, literally, we fought every day, whether it was one on one, whether it was at the house, he was hogging the Xbox or the GameCube or the Nintendo,
Big
testing the
brother, man.
years out. I mean, literally, he was that dude that like, I wanted to be like, and I wanted to be better than just because like he was that guy that I always looked up to from, I want to say second grade, maybe even first grade. He had an AAU team. He was 2 years older. So I would play up on his AAU team. And at the beginning, I was kind of the last man because it was like third grade. I'm a little first grader. I couldn't really
Uh-huh.
compete. I was too small physically. But my dad was the coach. So he would put me on the team. And as we got older and older, I started trying to like carve out more of a role on his team. And I think that was one of my main things that kind of helped me develop my game was playing 2 years up AAU from the first grade age. So you're playing against, by the end of it, it was grown men and I was still like a little kid. So you had to find a way to be effective. You had to find a way to get on the court and not embarrass yourself. So I got to give my brother a lot of credit. I know we fight like cats and dogs, but from day one, that was somebody that pushed me.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Josh, before I give it back, brother, I mean, you speak on that playing up, and a lot of these guys don't understand coming up, especially with your fundamentals and playing against people that are much older than you. And Josh and I both did. I mean, I played on an AAU team where it was 13 and I was 10. So it was playing up and really learning the physicality, and it makes you so much more fundamental and more crafty around the rim. And you have to be able to use your dribble and your ball handling skills so much more. I think that really benefited you in the long run. But appreciate those answers to that question, Josh.
Yeah, that was my first talking point was how much do you think it helps you develop playing like in the park with grown men? I remember being in fifth and sixth grade. I would leave practice and go to the open gyms and it would be guys getting off work. They would rough me up, but I learned how to play basketball. And that's something that I think kids have like shied away from completely.
Man, I think that's kind of one of the biggest things wrong with the game right now, honestly. I'll get into that here in a minute, but
Hmm.
my earliest basketball memories, there's a park in South Charleston about a mile and a half from my front door of my parents' house, Joplin Park. And during the week, this was all week when the weather was nice. And on the weekend, it was 4 o'clock during the week. On the weekend, it was 3 o'clock. And South Charleston Middle School would get out at 3:45 during the week, and sometimes the games, they usually started at 4, sometimes they would start earlier. There would be days where my dad would come sign me out of middle school early just so I could be in the first game, my brother and I, so we could be in the first game at Joplin. And what Joplin was middle schoolers, high schoolers, college kids, young adults, all the way up to like 65 years. Started in like third grade, even played all the way up until high school. I would go there. But from the jump, dog, you're playing against grown-ups stronger than you, faster than you, bigger than you. I think I started playing there when I was like third or fourth grade. So it's just kind of like playing up on my brother's AAU team is like you had to find a way to be effective. And what would happen was my dad would get us there early, and there's all these men there. Some days we'd have like 25 people on one court.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what that
You
means
lose,
is
you're
if you
sitting.
lose, you're out for an hour and
Yeah.
a half. Like sometimes you might as well go home. So I had to find a way to be effective even from a young age. So like sometimes my dad would be like, hey, when the shot goes up, take off.
Hmm.
And I would cherry pick. I would just find ways to pick my spots so that like ultimately we could try to win the game. But also like my brother and I, we were 20 years younger than some of the people out there. So that right there was something that molded me was like it taught me how to play the game. It taught me the fundamentals of the game. It taught me how to win, but it also taught me to value each and every possession, each and every moment in the game. And then it teaches you how important it is to win games because like my first memories of hooping were, dang, we lost first game. We might have to sit 3, 4 games over there. My
Well,
dad would bring
hour
like a
off.
rocking, exactly. My dad would
Get
Hmm.
bring a
tight, man.
rocking chair, lawn
Hmm.
chairs or whatever. Like we would have snow cones just in case, whatever. But
Hmm.
I mean, that taught you how valuable each game was. And I think that's something that I don't think kids play at the park anymore. I don't think kids are going and playing pickup like that. Now,
Yep.
everybody's got a skills trainer and everybody hit a tween step back. But like
Hmm.
when you're talking the fundamentals of the game and valuing possessions and valuing wins, I think that's just kind of something that's kind of been lost over time.
Yeah,
Yeah, basketball IQ is bad now.
I had seen a stat last night. It was like 92% of the game, if you're the most dominant ball handler, you don't even have the ball for 92% of the whole game. So what are you doing for that whole time period? And those are skills that you pick up playing pickup because you and your
Pacing.
trainer aren't, you're not going to link up with the trainer and you're not drilling defense and passing.
Not
So you're
watching
not
film either.
so if you're not playing basketball on your own time, where are you getting all that? And now you see kids in the high school game, they come out there, you're like, why does this kid have no fundamentals? And you can see it now. They're finally coming up in the high school. This is the generation that has not been doing that.
Babies.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, like having a trainer is awesome. And
Yeah, yeah.
I've had some of the greatest trainers in the world. I've been all over the country working with trainers. I did my pre-draft in California with the high level trainer. But like at the same time, like you have to play. Like, it's cool to work on your game, like, get 1,000 shots up a day or whatever you do, but,
Mhm.
like, I think pickup has become so undervalued because of whatever. But, like, growing up, those were my fondest memories, and that's where I learned, like, you have to find a way to be effective on the court to stay out there, and
Yeah.
I think that kinda taught me the game from a young age.
Yeah, one more, Drew, and then I'll pass it back to you. So
Right.
piggybacking off of the youth, when you hit middle school, did you have a moment in middle school where you started feeling like, okay, I play against guys way bigger, faster, stronger? Did you start seeing the game at a different speed or just a different feel to where you realized the spot where like, yeah, I'm playing at a different pace now?
Yeah, the confidence for sure. I see that.
I would say 8th grade was really like the year that I started kind of really developing and booming. I think 6th grade was kind of a nightmare slash wake up call because you go from bitty ball or shy ball or whatever and little kids AAU to now you're playing against guys 2, 3 years older than you. You got all the 8th graders on your team. So you're used to being the star of your bitty ball team. And then you,
Mhm,
you get to middle school and there's games that you're barely playing. You might get 2 points in a game and you've never scored 2 points in a game your whole life. You
mhm.
might even get a DMP just because, like, you got 6th grade team, you got the JV team, and you got the varsity. So you got all these kids in one group competing that are older, that are physically more dominant than you. So it was a grind. I had a great middle school group. I had a lot of great teammates, but I also had a lot of great like 7th and 8th graders that were older kids that were like, dang, this kid's good. Like I gotta find a way to beat him out or I gotta find a way to get on the court with him. And then 8th grade came and I think like my first game of my 8th grade year, I had like 50.
So my first ever middle school game of my career, I didn't get in yet because I was in 6th grade. That game was at South Charleston Middle School. They said, "Man, this kid scored 50 points after the game." I'm like, "Who is this kid?" And it was you. It was literally you.
Cedar Grove, my
First
8th
time
grade
I
year.
ever heard of him. First time I was like, "I never heard of this guy." Then after that, I was like, "Oh, I know that's the guy that scored 50."
So then, second game, I think we played East Bank, and I have 40, right? And that's my claim to fame is like, dog, first 2 games of my middle school year, I'm averaging 45 points a game. Like, y'all can't mess with me. And then I think the second game was like a dud. I had like 15. But
That's a
it was a
dud. That's
pretty,
crazy.
yeah, it was a pretty good start to my middle school 8th grade year.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of look at that too, and we'll stick to where middle school kind of turns to high school. And when you first get into South Charleston, because that's when I started hearing about you, kind of your sophomore year, and just the overall, microwave. That's the way that you were talked about in Eastern Panhandle, and then obviously you went down to North Carolina and finished up at George Washington. But the overall confidence and kind of to divert a little bit, the way that you read that the high screen and roll or high screen and pop action, what do you look at in a defender to whether to pull up from 30 or attack the rim and get a paint touch and look for your teammates? Because, you're a great scorer, but I think you're an underrated passer. What do you look at from a defender when you're going through that decision-making process?
So I got to give credit to my dad. He was an elite player, but just growing up, he was 40 some when I was starting to play pickup and he was winding down, but he was still out there. He's honestly one of the best passers of basketball I've ever seen. And this is in pickup games with 45-year-old men or high schoolers or whatever. And I mean, he can barely run up and down. He's limping. But the way I saw him create with the basketball, whether it was getting people open, whether it was leading them on a cut, whether it was throwing a full court pass, is something that like has stuck with me forever. And it was something that I wanted in my game. And if you ask anybody that's really close with me, or like you ask me, hey, John, what do you think you do best on the court? I would say my number one attribute is like, I pride myself on making the guys around me better, on whether that's putting them in advantageous situations or taking what the defense is giving, whether I need to score, whether I need to assist, whatever. But back to your question, a lot of it came in college with the D'Antoni system.
We
He
ran the same
coached
thing
Steve.
at Salem. It was crazy. We had Woody, Coach Woody. I know you know
Uh
who that is. Yeah, he was that high pick and roll action and, finding the corners and the spacing. I think that was key. You always had your guys in the right spots. That's why I noticed, especially how you attack the high pick and roll. I mean, I just think it's phenomenal the way you broke it down and were able just to be so efficient at.
So my first year at Marshall, Coach Woody Taylor, who's an assistant at UNC Asheville now, like you said, he was at Salem. He was kind of my like player development coach because I was sitting out that first year. And I can't tell you how many hours, days, weeks we drilled straight pick and roll drills. I mean, it was whether it was to come off, throw a one handed pass, whether it was come off, throw a pocket pass, whether it was the guy went under the screen, you got to shoot behind the screen. I mean, every counter, every move you could think of involving a pick and roll was something that I grinded on daily as a freshman. And ultimately, I think it enabled me to kind of be a pick and roll specialist.
Yeah, Coach Woody Taylor was, I mean, a lot of guys didn't like him because of his tenacity, but I think he created such a confidence in a lot of guys too. And his basketball IQ might be, now I'm not even gonna say I think it is the greatest basketball IQ of a coach that I've seen. Maybe not a head coach, but like you said, skill development and his overall way that he could break it down in the film study that I kind of spoke on in your last question. That was something I mean, I watched hours and hours of film with Woody. Like he really broke
His
down the game to a
preparation
different
was
level.
great for sure. He had
Yeah,
great
yeah.
preparation for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, again, shout out to him, and I love to hear kind of your mindset on that. And what it took to kind of really, because I would say you're an expert at that. I think that's what made your game so special. But Josh, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I want to go back to South Charleston. Saying you kind of peaked in middle school in 8th grade, you started getting a feel for things. Was there time like a time period where you feel like you had to earn respect from the upperclassmen at your early time at South Charleston as a freshman? Did you have a moment, or did they just when you came, they just knew, hey, he's going to be really good, or did you have to like earn that respect from those guys?
I would say it was somewhat similar to middle school, not to that degree, but like, you walk in the door ninth grade year, you've got seniors that have been on the team 4 years that have grinded.
Or hating.
That's what I'm saying. Like with like you got just older people. Like it's another culture shock. It's another like the speed of the game's different. The strength of people on the court, gaps fill up quicker. Like you think you have an opening, and then the defender cuts you off or bumps you a little bit and knocks you off your line. So walking in my ninth grade year at South Charleston, my brother had been on the team a couple years. He was going to be a junior. And then Perry Henry was a senior on the team. For those of
Yeah,
y'all that remember Perry Henry,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
made a lot of money playing at high level basketball wise. Then you had guys like Rashad Kincaid, Trayvon Reese. So like we had a lot of talent that was essentially ahead of me and older than me.
Mhm.
And I had to find a way just to kind of fit in. And also I wanted to play. So I had to beat guys out. I had to earn an opportunity. So I ended up winning freshman of the year my first year. And then my second year, it was a grind again, man. Like one thing about the South Charleston stuff is like we always didn't hang out or whatever off the court, but like on the court, like we competed. Like it was almost like we hated each other in practice, but it was like a beneficial hate because it was like, yo, like I'm trying to bust your ass like
Mhm.
daily. And when you have that level of competition and that level of dog in a locker room, like it just elevates one, the team, but it also elevates your play individually because it's like there's no light days or no off days in practice because it's like, yo, you got a target on your back. And that was dope.
Yeah, that created that
Uh,
chemistry too. Like you said, you might hate each other, during practice, but when you have a bunch of junkyard dogs that really have their mind on one singular goal, I think that creates a cohesiveness that's really hard to beat, especially when you have talent like that.
Yeah, so I'm at GW this year. Coach Green's been my mentor so far in the coaching field. What was your experience like at GW?
Oh, okay. So 2 years at South Charleston. I went to prep school in North Carolina my junior year. Um, and so the prep school, we had, I think it was 9 Division I players on the team, like 9 guys. And so we had moved while I was at prep school.
Okay, okay.
And when I came back, I had already committed to VMI. So I was at an all boys boarding school. I was homesick. I was like, you know what? Like, I
Coming
I
home.
got what I needed. Like I got the
Yeah,
college interest. I like
yeah.
played at a high level, but then I was like, you know what? I want to finish my senior year at home. And so where we had moved, I was in GW district. We went back, and if I could have went to GW all 4 years, I would have in a heartbeat. Just because that's how memorable it was. That's how fun it was. The relationship I had already had a relationship with Coach Green just from knowing him over the years. Because
Mhm.
if you know Coach Green and you're near South Hills area, you know he's in the gym all the time. You know he's starting at shy ball, biddy ball. He's forming relationships with parents. He's watching the middle school games. He's always around. And when you talk about a program and a culture for a high school,
It's amazing.
there's not many, if any, I've ever seen to the level of professionalism that he has. So, I mean, the amount of love and respect I have for him, I can't even put it into words how much he means to me. But if I could go back, I would go to GW all 4 years just to play for that man, honestly.
That's
Yeah.
scary because talking to Coach Kelly Church, who's the head coach of Hedgesville up here, I mean, he talked to me about Coach Rick Green for 25 minutes, and I've never met the guy, but I feel like I know him inside and out because he was just saying how great of a basketball mind he is and how great of a person. I mean, he talked more about the person Coach Green is and what he does for his players. And Josh speaks on it all the time, the loyalty that he has for
Yeah.
his guys. I mean, I think that matters a lot because eventually the ball stops bouncing for everybody. Obviously, you have an extended career. You've played 7 years professionally. But, for the guys that aren't as fortunate, I think because Coach Church basically said he puts his guys in positions to be great fathers and husbands, and I think that's what really matters in this world.
100%. And on senior night, my last year at Marshall, I was getting engaged, and I was going to propose to my wife on the court before the game. And one of my first calls was to him. I was like, "Hey, coach, like I'd appreciate, like I'd like for you to be here for this." And I only played for the guy 1 year, and
Hmm.
that's how much he meant to me. That's how influential he was as a person, as a coach, and like you said, like the relationships he has with guys. I mean, that's somebody that I'll walk into a GW practice. I hope he's coaching 10 years from now. You never know, but that's somebody that you want to go back and just kick your feet up and just chat with and just pick his brain. I mean, he's a basketball genius, but
Hmm.
people wise, you're not going to find a better person. That's a dude that you have a conversation with, and you leave the conversation feeling better afterwards, just because it was like, even if y'all weren't talking about anything, it was like, man, like, that was a good talk.
Yeah, I've been around him for 5 days a week, a couple hours for months now, and just every day there's so many things that I just remember that I'll take a note of. He's so good in X's and O's wise, but just in
Mentorship.
general.
Yeah,
He does it the right way. And that's something that like younger coaches I think miss now because they're just skipping the whole relationship part. They're just getting straight to
they just
X's
wanna
and
win.
O's. I want to be a coach now. I'm in a coaching community. I'm a coach. And then they leave opportunities, they leave, they get to the next job. He really has done it the right way. And I think it's like a dying breed of coaches, especially in high school sports.
Well, for sure, I agree with that too.
Go ahead, Drew.
So, John, I'm gonna go ahead and skip forward a little bit to VMI. I had a buddy, Jake Stevens and QJ Peterson, who both played there and both have, two different opinions of it. And obviously you transferred out to Marshall. What was your experience like there? And what did you take away from, being at VMI for your short period of time?
It's a different world there, honestly. Military, strict school, military academics come first, and then you got hoop on top of that. And so the guys that are able to go there 4 years and stick it out and go through that grind, I applaud them, but it's also not for everybody. I think a lot of people go there and they're like, you know what? Like, maybe this isn't something I can see myself doing for 4 years. I don't know. It's a different place, it's a special place. But the way things worked out for me, my grandfather ended up getting sick my freshman year. It was like probably a month or two before the season started. And like I was probably starting point guard as a freshman.
Well, that's
My
what I
brother
thought
was
too,
on
because you
scholarship
redshirted.
there. So my brother, he was there on scholarship. And my grandfather got sick. And like we sat down with my mom and dad and my brother and I, and we were ultimately like, you know what? Like, let's put hoops on hold. Let's put school on hold, and like let's take care of family first. So I ended up withdrawing from school. Went home. I think we were home 2 to 3 months before I ended up enrolling at Marshall as a total walk on. I'd never met the coach before any of that. But back to your question, it's a tough place, man, because you got 6 a.m. wake up. You're shaving your head every Monday morning. And I think that's why my hair is messed up now, honestly.
Because yeah, that's for sure. Could be the genetics too.
Yeah, probably the genetics. That's probably it. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, my
I
dude
think
Drew's
I
a
think it
barber.
helped
He's a
with your
great one.
discipline though. Yeah, like the discipline. That's because again, Jake and QJ both are two of the most disciplined people. Kind of
Jake's a
psychopathic a
different
little bit to
level.
be.
Jake's a
Yeah, to
different
be a
level.
pro, like I can look at you right now and tell that you're kind of a psycho when it comes to the game. And you need that. Like you have to be kind of crazy. You have to it's different than just liking something and loving it. Like you love the process of playing basketball. Maybe that's a little bit too much at a military school where there's only all boys, you got no girls to look at. But I think it
Mhm.
had to help you with some sort of discipline as your career kind of moved forward, with 2,600 points.
100%, 100%. And like you said, like it takes a different breed of person to be able to do that on
Yeah.
the daily. and I applaud it.
Yeah,
I
respect.
wanted to
Josh?
ask, did you ever think that your journey was over? Did you ever think, "Man, is this done?"
So coming out of high school, I had like 25 D1 offers, right? Ended up choosing VMI because of the family situation. I was going to play as a freshman. But when I left VMI, it was kind of nasty how it all played out. They were salty. I left. They didn't want to lose me. They put a lot of effort and energy into recruiting me.
Mhm.
But, I made the decision that I felt was best family wise and best for myself. So they didn't release me from my scholarship as a freshman, which meant I wasn't allowed to accept a scholarship or reach out to any
For a whole
Division One
year.
schools for 365 days.
Yeah.
And after being at home for 2.5 months, living with my grandfather on and off, I was like, man, I gotta get back at school. Like, I gotta play ball. Like, I gotta figure this out.
Mhm.
So, like, I just kept looking around. Marshall had an exhibition game, I think against Concord or somebody. And me and a family friend, we just drove down to the game. I'd never talked to him, never met the man. I just sat, I was halfway up in the rafters watching the game. And I was like, man, I could play for that dude right there, like that system, that style of play.
Fits
And
you perfect.
I don't even know if they beat the D2 team because like in his first early games, like it was a struggle.
Mhm.
So I decided I filled out a student application. Like I'd never filled out a student application because when you're on scholarship, like a lot of that stuff gets done for you. So I filled all that out. And I enrolled in the school. I think it was January 12th was my first day. I'm emailing like the coaches and all that. And finally, like I get a text and it's like, Dan Tony wants to meet with you. Be at his office at 8 a.m. This is like Monday morning. And he's like, hey, what's up? Like introduced. He's like, I want you to tell me about your game. He didn't know me. I don't think he's seen any film. He's
Was
like,
that after
tell
the
me about
rec
your game.
game or
Tell me
before?
before the rec game.
Gotcha.
And I was like, look, this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you know what? I've heard a lot about you from friends and coaches I trust. Here's a practice jersey. I'll see you at 3:30. And I was basically like a walk-on practice guy for the first couple months.
Were you in shape
So
though?
this
Like, were you still like solid as shape before that happened?
I was still training every day. Like I
Okay.
had no idea where the light was at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel was pitch black. I'm
Crazy.
at home. Everybody else is in school. Seasons are going on, and I'm just working out. So it's crazy how it turned out. And then I started playing intramurals just because I wasn't eligible. The team was traveling through the week playing games. So I'm friends with like I was on the team with a couple people that I played against at Huntington High. We were the Huntington Shooters, by the way, our intramural team, best team in intramural history,
Yeah.
probably. And I ended up scoring 100 points in an intramural game, and it went viral. I'm
Drew,
talking
I
like
can't
news
believe you never
articles were
heard of
wrote,
this.
and
I've
people
never
were
heard you having
tweeting
100
about it.
intramural game. Good God.
That was the
People were
story. That's
tweeting
the whole
about it, and they're
story.
like they're like intramural superstar makes the Marshall team. So it was kind of
Yeah,
backwards how it all happened because everybody was like, "Dang, he got on from intramurals," but really I was kind of already on the team. But like it went viral, and everybody
it was
kind of found
crazy.
out who I was from intramurals, which is funny.
Well, just
That's
kind of
awesome.
before Josh, you take this back. Because before when you're talking about they denied your transfer, because again, this is before all the kids. This is before the transfer portal. Like, if you went from Division 1 to Division 1, you lost a year eligibility. You either had a red shirt. If you already red shirt, you lost a year. Did you think about going to like any D2s? I mean, you had UC out there, and you had think about Davis Elkins, Wesleyan. You have all those
Wesley,
schools that maybe you could have went to right away to be able to play. But obviously, you would have averaged about 60 a game at a Division 2 level. So did you ever even entertain that at all?
Honestly, had never even thought about it. And I don't know if it was just being self-centered or egotistical or what, but it was like I had so much interest and so many offers on the table. I was like, man, like somewhere has got to be willing to like take a shot on me knowing I have to sit out a year.
Right.
And looking back, like ending up at Marshall was probably the biggest blessing of my life. Like the career I had, the friendships, I met my wife. And that was all like just going off of faith. Like my brother ended up going to a school in Texas, our Rio Grande Valley, which was a small D1. And like for the longest time, like I thought I was going to go there too. And then like I mean, even kind of planning it. Like I've never really talked about the story. Like we were both planning on like, hey, like didn't work out at VMI, the family situation, like, let's go there. And I was like super committed to it and then like just had a change of heart. And like, I don't even know if my mom and dad were happy about it. I don't know if my brother was happy about it, but like I had made up my mind. I was like, you know what? I want to go to Marshall. And the way it worked out, I mean, it was a dream come true.
Yeah, for sure. And Josh, go ahead.
So to pivot from there, what was it like when you guys made the run and you got to play Wichita State and then you played WVU all the way in California?
That was a dope experience as a West Virginia fan.
That's awesome, man.
Man, that was probably the highest high of my college career. When I mean, breaking records, beating all that. Like, so Marshall hadn't been to the tournament in 31 years. I had never won a game in the history of the NCAA tournament. And I think it was 3 games in 3 days we had to play in the conference tournament. So we're playing in Frisco, Texas at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. We're playing on a football field. So, like, it was
Mhm.
crazy, weird environment. And we're playing Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky has beat us twice during the year, and they kind of handled us both games. Yeah, like kind of handled us. And like it was one of those games that like we just got hot, got rolling early. There was a few seconds left. They have the ball. I think they were down 1. A guy shoots a floater, and I swear it was going in. I mean, it was one of those soft floaters that hits the rim, rolls around,
Mhm.
and like somehow it fell out. We get the rebound, we take it out, we throw it in, we kill the clock, game over. So we fly back like super early on Sunday. We literally flew out like 4 a.m. on Sunday. We hadn't slept because we're all geeked out. We're
Yeah, you
all
gassed
hype. We're
up.
Have to
partying
be.
all night. And we got the selection show is Sunday evening. So like we're running on no hours of sleep. We've flown from Texas all the way back to Charleston. We bus from Charleston to Huntington. We go to the selection show, find out we're playing Wichita State. And then we upset Wichita State. I think it was 4
Crazy.
versus 13 or 3 versus
I
14
thought y'all
or
were.
what.
I thought it was 5-12.
It may have been. I mean,
No,
it's
actually,
so
you are
many
right.
years ago.
It was 4 versus 13. You are right.
Yeah,
13.
it was
Because
crazy.
West Virginia was a 6, I believe.
But like when we found out we had Wichita, it was one of those things that like the more we looked into it, like the better we felt about the matchup. Because when you're a mid-major and you get a Power 5, like the thing that we always struggled with in Marshall was dealing with super physical big teams, which
Yep.
every Power 5,
Yep.
most of them have super physical bigs. Wichita was kind of similar to us in the fact that they were a little bit undersized, shot a lot of threes, and like it was the perfect matchup for us. I feel like
They
we
had
got
early
hot.
too, right? They had early on that
Ron
team.
Baker too, I think.
They had that was
I thought
after them. So they had like Landry
Baker.
Shamet. Landry Shamet was on that team. Austin Reeves was a freshman on that team.
Oh, I
Crazy.
forgot that he went to Wichita. I completely forgot about that. Then he
Mhm.
went to Oklahoma. Yep.
Connor Frankamp, if you remember him, he played at Kansas for a few years, transferred to Wichita. So like we beat them. And like people were treating us like celebrities. Like we went out to eat in San Diego after the game, and people are like standing up applauding us. And I'm like, dude, they don't know who we are. And everybody's chanting, "We are Marshall." Like
That's
the
amazing.
energy from that win was like something that'll stick with me forever.
What was that West Virginia matchup like?
Yeah.
So, sheesh.
Super big
We were
physical
so fired
team.
up,
Like,
dude. Yeah, super big. Exactly like what you don't want to play against
yeah. Yeah.
if you were us. But like we were so fired up because we're like, man, like we're on top of the world. We beat Wichita, like F West Virginia. That's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
quote rival. Like that's the in-state school. They passed up on me. Like, dude, F y'all. Like
Yeah.
we're about to bust y'all's ass, right?
Yeah.
And they came out and just flat out punished us, dog. Like, I
That's
mean, we
prime
were
West
competitive.
Virginia.
We were competitive in the first half. One of our, like, I think our starting 4-man got a concussion. I want to say it was like 21-16 or something, or like 31-26. And like, it was a pretty good game, like early on.
X Miles
And
got hot.
one of our guys got hurt. I think I was like 3 for 12 or 3 for 15, like just not a good game. I had Javon Carter picking me up full court the whole game.
Tasting his breath.
And yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he stretched. Like he was that. Like I don't even know if he was sweating either. I'm like, dude, this, like,
Yeah.
wow. Every time I dribbled, they were trapping like on spin moves and all that. And I mean, it just kind of snowballed against us. Like they hit everything. We couldn't handle the pressure, the physicality, and like that dream NCAA tournament run, all the energy, all the hype of what we just did, kind of just got crushed. So
They
it
were
was
some
it
dogs.
kind of sucked the way it ended.
They were
No, but
dogs.
they were a good team, and they almost beat Villanova. Should have beat Villanova
They
the
should
next
have.
game.
They got hosed. They got
Dogs.
hosed out of that
Dogs.
game for sure. And Villanova wins it all. But so Like my last two questions for you, John, though, obviously it's kind of a little bit off of that season. You got to play with CJ Burks as somebody, I got about 7 or 8 games against him, and I've seen him just go crazy. He had 2 game winners against us. What was it like playing with him? And what was it like for both of you guys, both of y'all, both over 2,000 point scorers for your senior year to kind of get to play against West Virginia, where both of y'all should have had at least some sort of interest from WVU. Nonetheless, you end up going to Marshall and getting to play those guys. What was that overall experience like, even though you guys ended up not coming out with a victory?
That was CJ was one of the most talented and gifted players I've probably had on my team throughout my career, especially in college, because it was like CJ, like, bro could have almost played running back, safety,
Oh, he's Cam
linebacker.
Chancellor.
Like he was so physically and athletically gifted that he just had a different speed. Like we would run this one elbow play where he would get the ball at the top of the key. He would hit the big man on the elbow, and the big man would hand it back to him. And everybody knew that we were going to run this elbow play for CJ. But
Too
CJ was
fast.
so fast and strong that like he honestly had one of the best straight line drive abilities I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I
Tremendous
mean, it'd be
slasher.
like a running back hitting the hole. So like I got to give him credit, man. From he sat out his first year at Marshall and got better every year. And a lot of dudes get in college, like they start partying, they start drinking, they start smoking, and like you really just kind of stay the same and go your 4 years, and that's you. That's a dude that improved every step of the way, and I got to give him credit for that.
I think you guys pushed each other though. Like Josh, before I give it back to you to finish up. I'm not going to say y'all were yin and yang because I think y'all both could score. You were a way better shooter, but I look at him as almost one of the most pure. It just looks so easy to him. It's almost effortless the way he finished at the rim. Extremely crafty at the rim. But I think that your guys' backcourt tandem, that was a top 5 in the country in terms of Division I college basketball, in my opinion, that season. Again, if y'all were at a major school like Kansas or Duke, I think you guys could have been legit, national championship contenders if you had some other pieces around you. But again, I think I just wanted to give you and him a shout out because that was so fun to see. Even though I'm a West Virginia guy, to watch you guys going at it because y'all both played well that game. Maybe not up to your standards, but to see y'all going at WVU, like man, I got to play against those guys. That was just super dope.
Marshall hit 26 threes that I saw on Twitter tonight. I think that's the most in a Division I game it said in 20 years. Marshall hit 26 threes.
Crazy. They got hot.
Crazy. Did you ever get to a point in high school or college where they started scouting that you were going to do the fake spin move? And how has it still been so effectively for like 15 years?
What's crazy is I got that move from my dad playing at the park, and that's a move that I've spammed probably
Crazy.
every practice, every game for the last probably 20 years.
Dude, exactly.
And between us, I don't know if anybody's ever going to catch on. I don't know if it's like my deceptive quickness or like my shiftiness or what, but like the fake spin move is still in full effect.
That would have been on, if you played against us, that would be on Coach Green's Sky Report 100%. Likes to fake spin. All the places you played, who were some of the coolest or biggest names that you have been in the gym with where you realized in the moment, like, man, this is cool, man?
Oh, my rookie year in Italy, we were playing in Milan, which Milan is like one of the most beautiful cities in all of Europe, right?
I'm good.
And at 40 years, I think he was either 39 or 40. He had just signed like a couple weeks before. Luis Scola. They had picked up Luis Scola.
Olympic
For
legends.
like for
Oh,
ball knowers, Luis
yeah,
Scola is legendary. I mean
yeah.
that
I could
I
see he was a
mean
beast.
he might not have been the greatest NBA player of all time, but like that was a high level NBA player. That was a high level
Great
foreign player,
Olympian.
Olympic player. And like he put me in the post and hit a little jump hook on me, and it was like I wasn't even there. But like after the game, I'm like, you know what, like that was pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
I gotta match up with Luis Scola for a second. Like that was somebody that I was like, oh no, that was pretty cool. And then one more, I'll say the other day, our practice facility for the Kings G League team is right across the street from our apartment complex, and it's the Kings old practice facility that they gifted to the G League. And sometimes NBA teams, when they get in a night or two before, will have like a random practice over there just for gym time and convenience or whatever. And we're getting ready to leave on a bus trip. So we had to go in the locker room. We weren't supposed to go out on the court because they were practicing, but we have a little curtain. And I poked my head out the curtain because they were in there practicing. And on one basket was like was Kyrie doing straight skill work. And
Man,
he had like 4 or 5 rebounders, had like 1 player development trainer, but like,
I would have missed
no,
the
that's
bus.
somebody. I was like 5 seconds before the fine alarm went off where I got fined. But I was like just poking my head in. I'm like, damn, like Kyrie's out there working out. Like, God, what I would give to go say, let's play 1-on-1 check ball right now. But I mean, that's one of the legends of the game. One of the dudes that's
That's
just
awesome.
changed the game. And everybody knows who that is. But like that was cool to see that dude work out, even if it was for 2 minutes. Like that was pretty dope.
Running ones with Frank Nitti.
Seen
Where
that
was
too.
that? That was going kind of viral
Yeah,
at the time.
that was in
I saw that
that
on
was
Reels
in
on Instagram though.
Irvine, Irvine, California, like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We were in the gym. We've actually become cool, like
He's
great
tough.
people, man. But it was just one of those dudes you get in the gym, little smack talks exchange, and you
Mhm.
just kind of blank out and just start going at each other. But no, that was fun.
That was
For
awesome. All
sure.
right, Drew.
Well, John, like I said, season 2, episode 1, we really appreciate you taking this time. I know you've been on flights, you've had practice, the scheduling's been crazy, but thanks for taking about 45 minutes to join us today. We wish you best of luck for the rest of your career. 7 years in, the way you play, you could play to your 40 easily. It's just how long you want to play. And we wish you the best of luck through the rest of your career and whatever future endeavors. And also TBT, make sure you always keep doing that if you're able to, because God, it's such a kick. I love it every year I see it. You turn into an absolute viral star, and just makes
Every
you
year.
so happy. Again, man, yeah, appreciate you, Mr.
Appreciate you,
Elmore.
bro.
Second all time in Marshall in scoring, 2,600 points, NBA G League
G League
champion.
champ.
West
Let's
Virginia
go.
State Player of the Year in 2014. So you got a hell of a resume, my brother. And again, good luck and keep being great.
I
Appreciate
appreciate y'all
you,
for
y'all.
having me, man.
That's just how I feel. Yeah. Yeah. That's just how